Chris.
It all started with this online game about Vikings. Nicolas and I ended up on the same team, and after each game, there was this chat session. Well, Nicolas wrote these really funny comments about the teams and the other players, and he made me laugh. I'd write replies to his comments, and he'd come back with another joke, and, it was a lot of fun. Then we sort of started messaging each other when we weren't gaming. Like me, Nicolas is crazy about anything to do with Vikings. Like, he's read all the history and just knows so much. We've never met up because he lives in Bogota, in Colombia, so it's not like we're neighbors or anything. And that's the other amazing thing about him. Like, he's never left Colombia, but his English is almost perfect. We've spoken online. I don't know how his English got to be so good. I have so much more in common with Nicolas than I do with the friends I see every day.
Alex.
Sarah and I met on this fan website for the Hunger Games. We both think this is one of the most amazing series of books we've ever read. But we both really enjoy other science fiction as well. A lot of people on the fan site just wanted to talk about the Hunger Games and nothing else. But Sarah was like me and wanted to read other writers, like some of the classic writers of science fiction, Frank Herbert, Ursula K. Le Guin, Philip K. Dick, people like that. So, for a while we would decide together what book to read, and after every chapter we'd discuss what had happened and guess what might happen next. I really enjoyed this way of reading. It kind of made it more interesting. And then I had this idea that we could set up a book club online and, include a few more people. But Sarah wasn't too interested in that. I could sort of feel her pulling away. She didn't text so often, and suddenly she didn't have time to read a book together. That sort of thing. That's fine. I enjoyed having an online friend, but I didn't want to have just one friend. I wanted more. In fact, now I've got a lot more. I set up the book club anyway.
Kelly.
I joined a discussion board called Greenie, and I could see immediately that Joe was the guy with the best ideas. There were always a lot of comments about how bad things are and how the environment is suffering and all that. But Joe was practical and would always ask, "Okay, so what are we going to do about it?" And then he would suggest something. Small and simple things, but practical things. Like, everyone turn off your air conditioning and open the windows. Sweat it out for the planet. I like people who do stuff and don't just talk about it. Then I figured out that Joe and I live in the same town. So we messaged a little and agreed to meet up. Together with some online friends and some face-to-face friends, we've set up a local action group. We got the city council to set aside some green areas, and we're raising money to buy trees to plant there. And we've set up a website to show everyone what we're doing, and we're attracting more friends who want to join in. That's the thing with online friendships. Sometimes they carry over into the real world, and you can do some amazing things.
Good morning, Beautiful Blooms florist. Hello, Mrs. Smith. I'm sorry. It's going to be impossible to get your flowers done this morning, but you can pick them up anytime this afternoon. Yes, that's right. Thank you. See you then. Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Feel free to take a look around. Let me know if you need any help. I'm just preparing some flowers for a delivery.
I could use some help, actually. I need something for the host of a dinner party tonight.
Okay. What kinds of flowers do they like?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't met her yet. She's the wife of a friend.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, roses are always a good option.
Aren't they a little romantic?
Yes, I know what you mean. I guess something like tulips might be better.
Tulips are okay, but maybe a little plain.
Well, if you ask me, you can't go wrong with irises. They're my personal favorite.
Yes, they're beautiful. Irises it is. Could I get a bouquet with a dozen?
Sure thing. It'll take me about 5 minutes.
Perfect. I'm just going to stop by the kitchen supply store next door. Wow, those look great.
You're all set. Did you get what you needed at the kitchen supply store?
I found a few things for work. I have a little restaurant downtown.
You're a chef?
I am.
Oh, that's great. Actually, could I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead.
See, I'm a little worried. I'm cooking for some people I've never met tonight, and I don't know what kind of food they'll like.
Yeah, I don't like cooking for people I don't know.
Me neither. But you're a chef. You cook for people you don't know every night.
True, but they get to order what they like.
Yes, I suppose so. I wish I knew what my guests liked. I still have no idea.
Well, if you ask me, I don't think you can go wrong with a simple roast chicken.
Doesn't that seem too plain?
Try adding some roasted onions, carrots, lemon, herbs, and spices.
That sounds terrific.
When it's done right, a roast chicken is my very favorite meal. I love it.
Me too, now that I think about it. Thank you.
Good luck tonight. And thanks for the flowers. Oh, how much do I owe you for them?
Hi, come on in. I'm Kristen. Wait a second. Don't I know you? Yes, from the flower shop today.
What? Oh, wow! Yes, hi again. I'm Randy.
Honey, Randy's here. That's funny. When my husband told me his friend Randy was coming for dinner, I thought he meant a man.
I get that a lot. These are, well, for you.
Irises, my favorite.
It smells wonderful in here. Roast chicken?
Yes, it's almost done.
Do you need a hand in the kitchen getting things ready?
From a professional chef? I won't say no to that.
How's your studying going?
Not so good. I think I can remember most of the grammar, but remembering vocabulary is a little harder, for me anyway.
Yes, there are a lot of words to remember.
What about you?
For me, it's probably the opposite. I find the grammar hard to get my head around, but the vocabulary is a lot easier. I've been testing myself at home, and I'm doing okay.
How do you manage to remember all the words? What's your secret?
Well, it's no secret. I have this kind of system for learning words that seems to make it easy.
Okay, what?
Well, when I get home from class, I record all the new words I've learned onto my phone. And then I do something like go for a run, and I listen to them while I'm running. And I make up sentences with the words and say them to myself.
As you're running?
Yes, as I'm running, I just say the sentences quietly to myself.
Do you remember what the words mean?
Most of the time, if I forget, I check in my notebook. And sometimes I play the words and write them down. I think the most important thing is to keep repeating them. I don't know why, but remembering the sounds of the words is important for me. Like last week, I learned the word shine. You know, like the sun is shining. And that sh sound at the beginning of the word makes me think of light that's getting brighter and brighter.
Interesting, but I don't know if it would work for me. I need to see things written down. I need to look at the word.
Right. My sister's like that too. She used to use vocabulary cards. Have you tried that?
No. How does that work?
She had these small cards, and she wrote each new word on a card with a picture or a definition and an example, sometimes a translation too. It worked really well, for a while.
For a while? Why? What happened?
She left all the cards on a train.
Oh no. That's probably what I would do.
I felt so sorry for her after all that work.
It sounds like a good idea, but I guess you have to be really organized to have a card system.
Yes, that's true.
And to be honest, I think maybe I'm too lazy to write all those cards and keep them with me wherever I go.
You have good grades and you've been on a lot of interviews, but no one's offered you a job yet. Why? Is it because your knowledge and practical skills aren't right for the job? Well, according to one career expert, Nancy Maynard, it's probably because you just don't have the likability factor. Likability is the ability to work well with people. It isn't something you can learn easily at school, but employers want it, and they're quick to see it in candidates during an interview. Without likability, Maynard believes, good grades and practical skills are worth very little. In the first 18 months at a job, most of an employee's success is linked to their likability, not to how well they do the job. Likability is much more important than other abilities, and anyone who's looking for a job should be trying their hardest to improve their own by spending time with other people. Advice for job hunters goes like this: apply for the jobs that you want, even if you don't have the right qualifications. If you get an interview, then impress the interviewers with your soft skills. Soft skills are your personal skills, your friendly personality, your positive attitude toward work, your ability to communicate with people, and your problem-solving skills. It's simple. Or is it? Is likability really more important than knowledge and experience? We took to the streets and asked some people for their opinions.
Hi. Is anyone sitting here?
Nope, it's all yours.
Thanks. Oh, aren't you Mike's colleague, Paula? I've seen you around the office.
Yes, that's right. It's Javier, isn't it? Let me get that chair for you. Oops.
Oh no! My coffee!
It's all over your phone. Here's a napkin. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
At least let me get you another coffee.
That's okay. I've had plenty already.
How's the phone?
Not good. The screen's frozen.
Oh no. Maybe you could try turning it off and on again.
I was just doing that, but still nothing.
What about taking the SIM card out and drying it?
That's worth a try. Thank you. I hope I didn't lose all the numbers in my contacts. I haven't saved them anywhere else.
Oh no, that's terrible. Could you take it back to the store?
Oh, I don't think they'll do anything. I bought it over a year ago.
Will your insurance cover it?
I don't have any. It just ran out. A week ago.
How annoying. I know. The other day, I read about this trick for fixing phones when they get wet.
Really?
They said you put the phone in a bag of rice and apparently it dries it out. You could try that.
That sounds a little weird.
I know, but there were a lot of comments from people saying that it had worked.
Okay, I'll give it a try. What do I have to lose? It's cheaper than buying a new phone.
If it doesn't work, I'll cover the cost to fix it. It was my fault.
That's so nice of you. Hello?
Hi, Javier. It's Paula from the coffee shop where I spilled your coffee. I got your number from Mike. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, hi, Paula. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You?
I'm good. And guess what? My phone's working. Obviously. That rice trick really worked.
That's great. I'm really glad to hear that. So you don't need me to pay for repairs?
No, but I would like to return the favor. I was wondering if you'd let me buy you dinner sometime. You know, as a thank you.
Actually, I had the same idea, sort of. I wanted to buy you dinner to say I'm sorry.
Okay, dinner it is then.
Yes, dinner it is. But I'm paying. It's the least I can do after all the trouble I caused.
Well, sure. That's really kind of you.
Hi, Tanya. What's up?
Hi, Lynn. Not much.
Have you done that presentation yet? The one for your bosses?
Yeah, I did it yesterday.
How did it go?
Well, you know, the usual thing. I presented my ideas, everyone smiled and thanked me, and then said nothing.
So they didn't even give their opinion?
No, but I could see they didn't like the idea. The problem with the company I work for is that they're continuing to use the same ideas and aren't thinking enough about new markets. They're not thinking enough about the mobile app market at all.
Isn't that why they hired you?
That's what I thought. I mean, I've been working there for just over a year now, and they haven't said yes to any of my ideas. When they offered me the job, they said things like, "Oh, yes, we're very interested in your creative thinking and your problem-solving skills." But do they really want to use them? I get the feeling they don't.
That must be very disappointing.
I think I've more or less decided I'm going to look for a new job.
Really?
Yeah, it's getting hard to keep having a positive attitude.
I can understand that. And I thought your app idea was a really good one.
Thanks. So, what do you think about me moving to Singapore?
Singapore?
Sure, I'm thinking about making a big change.
Yeah, but coming to live in Singapore? Are you sure?
Yeah, well, you came here to study. Why can't I go there to work?
No reason, I guess. That would be amazing.
I want to travel more, and I'm really interested in Asian culture. I'd love to find out more about it.
Well, yes, and there are plenty of IT jobs in Singapore, but it's kind of a busy city. Are you sure you could handle it?
Absolutely. It would be fun.
Great. Go for it then.
I remember in elementary school, Mom used to dress us in the same clothes.
No, she didn't. We used to wear different clothes.
So, how did we exchange classes and fool the teachers?
We used to change our clothes before class.
Did we? I don't remember that. I thought our clothes were always the same.
Anyway, I liked the fact that you were always there. I always had a friend, someone to talk to.
Yeah, but we didn't used to talk that much.
Yes, we did.
No. We used to play together all the time, but we were quiet. Mom says so. She says it was like we knew what each other was thinking.
That's very true. I mean, I usually know what you think about things.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember when we were in high school?
Sure. I used to hate being asked the same question all the time. Are you Bianca's twin?
That's when you started wearing black. Only black and nothing else.
I looked good in black. And I remember what you used to wear.
They were just dresses and skirts with flowers on them.
Oh, yeah. And they were pretty bad.
They weren't that bad. Anyway, I was trying to be different from you.
But the thing that really annoyed me when we were growing up was when people tried to compare us.
Right. Like when they used to ask things like, "Are you the one who's a little slimmer?"
Or, are you the forgetful one?
I never used to answer those questions, honestly.
Me neither. And I usually felt that people wanted us to compete all the time.
Yeah, especially with grades.
Like, my teacher would say, Bianca's math grade is better than yours.
And I'd get, "Martina wrote a very good essay. You could learn from her."
But Mom and Dad never did that.
No, never. They brought us up well.
Terrell,
Hey, Matt.
we're still meeting at 10, right?
Yes, we are. We're in meeting room 3, I think. I'll be there in a minute.
What are you doing?
I'm shopping for a car.
Online? Are you planning to see it in person before you buy it?
I am, but why do you ask?
Well, you won't believe what I did. It was so stupid.
What?
Remember I told you I wanted a desk for my home office and I was going to buy one online?
Yeah?
Well, I found one. It looked perfect, exactly what I was looking for. It was a fantastic price, too. Way cheaper than in the store.
Sounds good.
Exactly. So I ordered it.
Great.
And it arrived on Saturday. But the funny thing is, it was really, really small.
How small?
It only came up to my knees.
What?
It turned out I'd ordered a desk for a child.
No way.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to check the measurements on the website.
Oh, man. Well, I'll definitely check the measurements of my car before I buy it.
I don't know. You'd look good in a little toy sports car.
So, what did you do about the desk?
Well, I called the company to explain, and luckily they agreed to give me a refund.
Really? That was nice of them.
Yeah, it was. But anyway, I still had to find a desk. I was looking everywhere, but I couldn't find anything. In the end, my wife suggested I try one of those free cycling websites.
Free cycling? What's that?
It's where people get rid of stuff they don't want anymore. I'd never heard of it either, but there are a couple of websites for this area. I found the perfect desk in just a few minutes. And the best thing is, it's free.
It's free?
Yeah, I think the owner doesn't have enough space for it, so he's just giving it away. All I have to do is go and pick it up.
Wow. That's good. And you're sure it's the right size this time?
Ha ha. Yeah, I double-checked the measurements this time.
I wish they gave away cars on this free cycling website of yours.
Oh, but they do. Really. I saw a car or two on there yesterday.
What?
There was this one car that was just perfect for a 6-year-old. I think you'd love it.
It's a shame we don't know much about our great-grandfather, isn't it? Mom used to love talking about him and great-grandma. She always used to tell so many interesting stories about them. but I have no idea where or when they met.
Yeah. Well, I know he was born in England.
Who, great-grandpa? That's right, and he wanted to go out and see the world, didn't he? That's why he went to train as a chef, so he could get work on a ship.
What kind of ship?
A cruise ship. And that was before the war, sometime in the 1930s.
Oh, right.
He loved traveling, and working on a ship was the best way to see the world if you didn't have a lot of money back then.
So, how did he meet Great-Grandma? She was a nurse, wasn't she? And how did they both end up in Canada?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to do some research.
That was Rimsky-Korsakov's Flight of the Bumblebee, a piece that was performed for a live audience on TV by a 6-year-old boy named Sung Sung. Sung Sung could play the piano when he was 3. When he was 5, an internet clip of him playing the piano made him famous. He said his dream was to be able to play like Mozart. Our question today is, do we have to start young to succeed? We've all heard about kids like Sung Sung, bright kids who have a particular ability in, say, music, math, or science. But do they grow up to be successful adults? And if you're over 30 and you haven't achieved your goals yet, is it too late? Ed Bickley's been looking into it for us. Ed, what have you found out?
Okay, well, clearly some talented children go on to do very well as adults. Take Lionel Messi. He started playing soccer on the street at the age of 5. Soon he was playing against much older boys, and they couldn't get the ball away from him. He was so good that he was able to join the Barcelona junior team when he was 11, and he achieved international success at 20. Now, he's one of the greatest players in the world.
A real success story.
Yes, but what's surprising is that most of these talented children, when they grow up, don't actually achieve much more than other adults. A recent study followed a group of talented children from 1974 until now. Less than 5% managed to become very successful adults.
That does seem surprising.
And now for the good news. If you haven't achieved your goals by the time you're 30, don't give up. Plenty of people have found success much later in life. British fashion designer Vivienne Westwood's first job was in teaching. She always wanted to be a designer, but her successful fashion career didn't begin until she was 30, when she started making clothes for a store in London called Let It Rock. Then there's Andrea Bocelli. He's been able to sing well since he was a child, but he didn't become a famous classical singer until he was 36. At 41, his album became the most successful classical album by a solo artist of all time, with 5 million copies sold around the world.
So, to do well at something, we don't have to be good at it at a young age?
That's right. In most cases, talent develops with experience. You need to practice, make mistakes, get frustrated, learn from your mistakes, practice some more. It's hard work. You need a lot of patience, a lot of determination. Confidence and a positive attitude help too. Say to yourself, I can do it. And just maybe you will. And don't worry if your 10-year-old child can't play the piano. Maybe she'll be able to do it when she's a little older.
Ed, you've given us all hope. Thank you very much.
Kate.
Well, my friends would probably say I'm an extrovert because I'm pretty sociable. In social situations like a party or something, I'm usually really outgoing, talkative. And I like to have a lot of fun, and I usually joke around with people and so on. I don't mind being on my own if it's not for too long, but after a time, I start feeling bored. I definitely need people to talk to. But on the other hand, I definitely have my introverted side too, I think I'm basically a pretty shy person. I certainly worry a lot about what people think of me. Maybe that's why I cover it up by talking a lot. And I'm really scared of speaking to an audience. I hate it if I have to give a presentation in class or give a speech. That makes me feel really nervous. Feeling like everyone's looking at me, I don't like that.
Alex.
Oh, I'm definitely an introvert. I'm definitely a little reserved with people I don't know well. I don't really give myself away much, except with very close friends. Then I can sometimes be pretty lively and fun to be with. People say I'm very good at telling jokes, actually. I don't enjoy parties much. I don't really know what to say to people. I'd much rather be doing something on my own. Maybe reading a book or going for a long walk, or maybe just going out with a couple of friends. It probably sounds really boring, but I guess I'm basically a serious person. And I'm also pretty sensitive. I'd rather have an interesting conversation with someone, not just make small talk. And I guess maybe that puts people off sometimes.
Hi, Akiko. Here's your croissant and coffee. What's that you're looking at? Oh, nice. Are those the photos from your vacation?
Thank you. Yes. You haven't seen these photos yet, have you?
No, I haven't. Oh, wow. That's a great photo. That's the hotel you stayed in, isn't it?
Yes. And there's the beach. It was just a short walk from the hotel.
Wow, these are really good.
Thanks. I enjoyed taking them.
They're amazing. Actually, can I ask a big favor? You know I'm making a new website for the bakery, don't you? Well, I need some photos for it. Of pastries and people sitting at tables eating them.
Like me right now?
Do you think you could take them?
I'm not sure. I'm not a professional photographer. It's just a hobby.
But I really love your pictures. Will you do it?
Well, if you're sure, okay, I'd love to.
Great. How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow? Why not? But could I ask you a favor in return, Olivia?
Yes, of course. Just name it.
Could I have another croissant? These are amazing.
Thanks so much for agreeing to take these photos, Akiko.
Happy to do it. Where should we start?
It would be nice to get some pictures of the cakes, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Would you like me to put a slice on a plate? Or is a photo of the whole cake better?
Let's do both. The cakes are decorated so beautifully, but everyone wants to see what's inside, don't they?
And I think it would be great to have some shots of people drinking coffee, don't you?
That would be great. And then we need some pictures of you.
Really? You don't think that's too much, do you?
Of course not. It's your bakery. Plus, you look really good in photos.
Do I? We could take those last, couldn't we? So I can clean up a little? I have flour all over my hands from baking bread.
I like the flour. Look at me. Smile.
Wait, I'm not ready. How's my hair? It's not too messy, is it?
You look absolutely perfect. just like your cakes.
Sheena.
Last year, I had some free time and some money to spend. I'd always wanted to go walking and climbing in the Himalayas, but I didn't want to go on my own, and none of my friends wanted to go. So I found a website called Travel Groups, where you can contact other people who want to go to the same places as you, and you can join up and go together as a group. Anyway, I found 3 other people to go with, and we all met in Delhi in northern India, and we traveled together. It worked out really well. I think websites like this are a good idea because a lot of people don't want to travel on their own, and it works as long as everyone's reasonably sociable. I'm very self-confident, and I think I'm an extrovert, so I'm pretty good at getting along with people and making friends.
Alia.
I had a few months off after college, so I looked on the internet for volunteer work and found a really good website for last-minute volunteer jobs called the Volunteer Community Project. It was good because you can arrange things right away and they pay your airfare, and you get basic accommodation and food. You don't earn money, but you don't really spend much either. I went to London and worked there with young children from problem families. I didn't have any experience, but that didn't matter. They were just looking for someone who could get along with kids and understand what they need. I never realized it before, but actually it seems like I've got a natural talent for teaching children. So it was a really great experience. And now I've decided to train as a school teacher.
Brad.
I really needed to earn some money, and I couldn't get a full-time job. Someone told me about this website called Short Work, where people offer short-term jobs for a few days or a couple of weeks to people who like helping out with things or fixing things for people. I'm pretty good at things like that, and I know a little about electricity and plumbing. I found this ad for a family who had a large house and needed someone to do some basic work on it. So I went over and talked to them, and they gave me the job. I think they could see that I was really serious about it, and I was determined to work hard. It was really good. I was only there for 2 weeks, but in that time, I managed to clear their garden, mend their garden fence, paint 3 rooms, and get their kitchen light working. So, not bad for 2 weeks' work. Are they environmentally friendly in Costa Rica? Do they protect their rainforests and animals?
Well, yes, they do. The government is doing a lot, but it takes a long time for forests to recover if they've already been cut down. They'll probably get better, but not immediately.
Are you going to work in the rainforests?
No, I'm not. I'll be by the sea. I'm going to work on a project that takes care of turtles.
Turtles? That's very cool. But how do you take care of turtles? I mean, what do you do?
Well, to be honest, I don't really know. Tomorrow, I'm meeting someone who has worked on the project, and she's going to tell me about the kinds of things I'm going to do.
So, who else works on the project? Just people from overseas or local people too?
I'm not sure about that either. Maybe I'll work with local people too.
So you're off to save the world. I think that's great.
Don't know about saving the world, but I'll definitely be able to save some turtles. And I'm going to make the most of my time in Costa Rica and learn some Spanish too.
Let me know how things go.
Sure. Actually, I'm going to keep a blog, so I'll write regular updates on the blog and you can follow that.
Good idea. I'm sure you'll have a great time.
Yeah, so am I.
I visited biologist Andrew Parker to find out more about how the natural world has inspired everyday objects. Andrew, hello. What's this little animal you've got here?
It's a thorny dragon lizard from the Australian desert. As you can see, it's pretty small, about 20 centimeters long. But it's an amazing animal. You see, what I'm really interested in is what this little creature can teach us about collecting water.
Okay.
So, as I said, this lizard lives in the desert in Australia. And, as you know, it's an incredibly dry place. But this lizard manages to live there very successfully. And we've discovered one of the reasons for this. If the lizard puts a foot somewhere wet, even just a tiny, tiny bit wet, its skin pulls the water up and over its whole body. When the water reaches the lizard's mouth, it drinks it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yes. On the lizard's skin, well, in fact, in the skin, we discovered there's like a system of very, very small pipes. So the skin collects the water, and these pipes pull it toward the lizard's mouth.
That sounds really efficient.
Well, yeah. So, you see, we want to copy that system and use it in a device that collects water. If we're successful, the device will provide water for people who live in very dry environments.
That's fantastic. And what other ideas have we taken from nature?
Engineers are doing a lot with robots these days. For example, there's the rescue robot. It's just like a spider because it moves on 8 legs. And it can move very quickly and make itself very small. So these rescue robots will be able to help people who are stuck in small spaces or who are trapped in buildings, for example, if there's an earthquake.
So they'll be able to help save lives.
Exactly. And then we're looking at seashells, which are very strong, but at the same time, they're very light. They don't weigh much at all. Scientists have discovered that seashells are made of a lot of tiny blocks that fit together. But this makes them really hard to break. The plan is to copy this material to make safety equipment such as gloves and helmets.
So this material will protect people like a shell protects a turtle.
That's right. And again, this could help save lives.